Hello and welcome to Bite-Sized Pixels. In this tutorial we will be working towards creating a full website layout over 3 tutorials. So firstly you want to go into your Dreamweaver file, and for this purpose I've just created a new one, but you can already use what you're working on. So I just want to first of all go into our body, and I'm going to create a wrapper for the page, as this will hold all of the information that we'll need to hold all the content and images for the website. So we've got our wrapper. The next thing we'll want to do is create a header. You'll notice that I've used a div ID for the wrapper, and that is because that's old HTML, but it's still required for any content that you want to create. If you wanted to create separate boxes, you could ideally use div ID, but generally for header and all the other elements, they're already pre-existing in HTML5, so we'll just use those for now. I'll just indent the header, which might make it a bit easier for when we're working with our code. And in here I'm actually going to insert an image. Now this is an image that I created earlier with the dimensions 960 by 300. So you can put whatever image you want in there, but it's best to have a fixed size so that you know that it fits in there. So that's our header. I think the next thing is if we quickly create navigation. So just tidy that up a little bit. So we're still working with inside of our wrapper, and we just want nav, and then closing that one. And in here I'm just going to enter menus, booking, catering, and contact us. For the moment I'm just going to leave that just as it is, because we can always play with the different fonts and the layout a bit later on, but for now we've just got that set in there. So one last thing I'm going to quickly do is inside of our body tags at the top here, so before the wrapper, so I'm going to create an embedded style sheet. So you just need to open a new tag and call it style type. And you'll notice at this point the rest of my text has gone pink, which means that I haven't closed it yet. If your text is like this, you need to go back and check that you've opened and closed your tags correctly. So it's CSS text, and we're just going to close that. And then we're just going to close our style, and you'll see the rest of the text has gone back to the correct colour. Might be wise to save your work at this point if you haven't already, just to make sure that everything's where you want it to be for now. Okay, so inside our style sheet, what we want to do first of all is just style our body. So open that up, and I'm just going to add a background texture for this, but we call that background image, and it should let you browse for any kind of texture or picture you want to use. For this I've used light paper fibres, so it's quite subtle. And just make sure you close that, and you should see now some kind of texture put into the background. And underneath our body I will create wrapper, but because we've used a div ID, if you ever use div ID in your HTML, you have to insert this shape. It's like a hash sign, and it's already telling you that it's for the wrapper. So yeah, we're just going to write wrapper next to that. but the rest of the styling is exactly the same. I'm going to give this a height of auto. This way it can change the shape as we add more content into our website. The width, we want that to be fixed just so it keeps the length of the website layout to how we want it. And we're just going to add a margin to the left by 10% and a margin right. But we're going to put this to 10 pixels. You'll notice that the website will have jumped to the center of the page now. So this is because of the margin left and margin right that we've just put in there. That's why that's worked. So if you save it and just click preview in Safari, open up and look at something a little bit like this for the moment. So when we go back into our Dreamweaver, we can just add a tiny bit more code, style our header, give that a height of 300 pixels and a width of 960 pixels. We want this to float to the left hand side of our wrapper, and we want to put a margin on the bottom so that when information is put underneath there's a tiny gap. So we'll just put 20 pixels and just check that that's correct, and you'll see that a gap has now been made between the header and the navigation section. Just quickly, what we'll do is just style our navigation. We'll just make that float to the right for now. So that's it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one. Thank you for watching.